I really just want to know their story, how they got to where they're at. So we're going to ask about incomes. Where do you work? What type of income, do you have currently? Are you a business owner? What's that business look like? How much revenue do you generate? What type of income, net money do you take home? And then, we'll ask about saving strategies. What are you currently doing? Are you saving in a 401k, or do I do Roth IRA contributions monthly, or I save in a non-qualified account?
Welcome to How to Money with Kole and Kole.
I'm Kole.
And I'm Kole.
We coach people every day on their money and how to plan for the future.
As financial advisors, we're here to have an honest conversation on investing, retirement, and everything in between.
At Full Swing Financial Planning, we're here to empower you to take control of your plan, your way, for your financial future.
So let's talk money.
And sports.
Welcome back to How to Money with Kole and Kole. I'm your host, Bailey Ashbrook, sitting here with the guys. And I'm really excited because we're going to do our first series episode where we're going to go into customized retirement planning. But before that, we need to get into the most important topic, the Chiefs. Proving you guys all wrong.
Yeah.
I've been wrong the whole way, so it's nothing's new there.
You guys thought I was kidding, but Mahomes and the Chiefs are...
Yeah, you can't underestimate the heart of a champion, can you?
Yeah, exactly. Winners win when it matters.
When they beat the Bills, I was like, they're going to Super Bowl. They're going to beat the Ravens.
So it's between me and you, Kole.
Yeah, I know. And I got the 49ers, who are favored slightly.
I do kind of want him to win, though, because Brock Purdy, Iowa State, it's like you love that for him.
It's a good story. And I'll never cheer for the Chiefs as a Broncos fan. So I'm definitely a Niners fan at the but we do have a local kid that plays for the Chiefs, Jack Cochran.
Yeah.
That is the nephew of Stu Cochran, who's an attorney here in town, and the cousin of Nick Cochran here. So I kind of have a heart for the Chiefs too a little bit.
It'll be a great game, but I need my Chiefs to win so I can look at you guys all in the face and
You're
say,
a Cowboys fan. They're not your Chiefs.
They're my Chiefs right now.
They were her preseason
Yeah,
pick.
they're my pick.
So straight up, it's how it works. If the Chiefs win, Bailey is the winner of our preseason bet. If the 49ers win, Cole Peterson is the winner of our preseason bet. Me and Cole Jasky are just tough luck.
The losers on the left side of the room.
Yes.
So.
All I do is win.
How about those Hawkeye women, though?
Oh my gosh. Me and my sister were talking about it because she plays Ohio State at home as their last home game. And I was like, I gotta go because she's definitely probably going to the WNBA, but
You think so?
I do.
Why?
I just think
I think economically it's worse for her.
It is, but she's already made.
You get at a certain point you want to change.
She would play with Aaliyah at the Indiana Fever Boston. Her teammates, Gabby's gone, Kate's gone. I mean, they'd be young and it'd be a building year, but I just think the way she's been talking, I don't know.
Right.
I could be completely wrong.
Hot take.
But
She could go to LSU.
Oh God.
Haley
For a
Van
final
Lith,
year?
how's that going for her?
Well, season's not over. So.
Well, yeah, we don't have to get into that. But it's funny, my nieces got a viral moment where they asked Caitlin Clark for an autograph during the game, which...
During the game.
There was like
funny.
a minute left, but they had already engaged with them, talked to them. But she literally was on ESPN, all these videos. It was so funny. But she got the autograph. She got her little Clark moment, so it was cute.
Yeah, that's cute.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Cyclone men had a good week. Beat Kansas at home.
They're hot.
They went up to like number 12. They moved up 11 or 12 spots.
They beat two ranked teams last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. And they're going to win with defense, which a lot of teams in the NCAA don't do. They're winning with defense and rebounding, the things that win championships. So
the whole Big 12 is pretty legit.
I think the Cyclone men might really make some noise this year.
Best time of the year is coming, guys. I need the Super Bowl to get over. I need to get to March.
Caleb threw in his, we're all like, why are the Tar Heels on here? He's like, I'm a Tar Heels fan. They're, 9-0 in conference, number 3 in the country. So come on.
As of
up.
yesterday, they got beat last night by an unranked Georgia Tech team, but we'll forget about that.
Womp, womp, womp.
It's so different though, because people always say that, basketball is such a long, gritty season. Yeah. It's like so many games, and to play every night in and out, it's just tough. And the teams that play well at the end, they know.
You just got to get to the tournament.
Yeah.
And you got to get a decent seed, I think, to get in, to do some damage in the tournament. Get a 1 through 4 seed, which all those teams will.
Should we throw a little teaser out there we do have a, maybe we've talked about this, but tournament team, right? We got a special episode.
We got an NCAA special episode with Wade Lookingbill.
Yep. We're going to have it's going to be the first bonus episode, and it's going to be, I think I can say this, only sports.
Yeah. Only sports.
Only sports. So
our dream pod.
Few listeners, but we're going to geek out on sports and have Wade Lookingbill back, our basketball specialist. So
yeah.
I got a
middle of March.
I got a serious question. Do you think it's every man's dream to just sit and talk about sports all day as their job? Because like you guys,
I don't know about every man, but a lot. There's
90%.
a lot. Most of my circle can sit and like kill 3 hours talking sports pretty easily.
Oh my gosh.
What did we just do? Nothing. We wasted 3 hours arguing about sports.
If Luke's talking to a friend via text phone, I'm like, what are you talking about? Sports. I'm like, okay. Like,
I have a guy that I worked at Fairway with, and we'll do that, and Lily will be like, who are you texting? I'll be like, Luke. She's like, oh, you're talking sports, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, okay.
Well, that's why the NFL's $1 billion, football's $1 billion industry.
You think about all the podcasts on sports now and just all of it. Should we get into our series though? Because
we should.
We aren't those people. That's not our job, unfortunately. So we'll get back to the
We'll actually talk about finances and not sports.
So let's get into it. This is our first series. We're going to talk about customizing your retirement plan. And we're really just going to go through the stages we take a client or a person through when we're getting to know them, how we take their plan and really start to finish. And so we're going to look at the certain things we go through. Cole J, why don't you go through the stages?
Yeah. So, I mean, really for us, this could be, tailored and different to every client situation, but really we have 5 checkpoints or kind of areas that we'll touch on. And the first 2 we're really going to talk about today. We're going to go into a deep dive today, but it's really assessing your current situation, and really setting goals. What are the objectives moving forward? And then, in future episodes, we'll dive a little more deeper into understanding the different investment options, account styles, taxation, how things work, and then ultimately customizing the savings strategy, where that goes, and then how it looks ongoing. The navigation of the plan, partnering with a professional, in the guidance that we really provide as advisors, and what it looks like for that ongoing relationship after you've done the deep dive in assessing and building the plan.
Yeah, so just a reminder to our viewers and our listeners, what we typically specialize in, and it's not the only thing that we do, is sitting down with Jane and John Doe and going through their retirement plan. Now, we also do retirement planning for individuals. We do 401k plans. But I would say, a lot of what we do is sitting down with a couple that is either getting ready to retire or looking to invest more, or wants to actually look at that end goal of retirement and how that's going to look for them. So I think that's why we're doing this, is to kind of show you, because I think some people have some apprehension of meeting with a financial advisor or not doing it soon enough, possibly. And so we want to kind of tell you, this is the steps that we're going to take with you, and that's how we're going to go through and make your retirement plan and show you how that's going to work.
That's a really good point, because I think we get this a lot. What do you guys do? What do you do for me? And it really doesn't matter the age. Obviously, the closer you get to retirement, the more important it is. But the sooner you start really and think about that plan, even from my age, that better you're going to hit that goal and be able to retire when you want to. So a customized plan is really your plan for you, and we create it with what's your income, your goals, your needs, all that thing. So the first thing we do is really getting to know someone. So Cole, when you're first meeting with someone, what's the first step of getting that information? Yeah,
I mean, honestly, it kind of feels. I set this meeting, and I'm sitting down with a husband and wife, and I know it's kind of retirement planning focused or goal focused. I really just want to know their story, how they got to where they're at. So we're going to ask about incomes. Where do you work? What type of income do you have currently? Are you a business owner? What's that business look like? How much revenue do you generate? What type of income, net money do you take home? And then, we'll ask about saving strategies. What are you currently doing? Are you saving in a 401k, or do I do Roth IRA contributions monthly, or I save in a non-qualified account? Yeah. And then we'll transition to really to your knowledge base. I think that's important to know, how much knowledge you have in the different, retirement accounts, or what your education on your prior investing history has looked like. So then we have an idea, and that'll gauge kind of what maybe you currently are saving now. So then, we have an idea of kind of where to navigate next. And generally that transitioned into kind of more the goals conversation after that, or what's priority for you to start this meeting.
I was going to say this too, because I think it's important too. You don't have to have a strong knowledge base if you know, like you don't understand your 401k, you don't understand your IRA. That happens a lot too. Like I don't understand where I should be putting money or how much I should be putting or what I should be investing. And then we have clients that are very in tune with all that. And I just want to put that out. That doesn't matter. That's why we're there. We're there to work with the person that has the huge knowledge base and understands everything in between, and they love to pin ideas off someone, but we're also there to educate the person that really just needs help taking the next step, like building that plan. Like I always refer to it as like building your workout, like build my workout for me, tell me what I want to do to hit these goals. So Kole, Pete, what are some types of goals you go over with people when you're meeting with them to assess all this? Yeah,
and what I was going to say with what you just said there real quickly is that we have a range of people. I had a gentleman that came to me one time and had worked at the same company for 26 years and literally had never logged onto his 401k, had no idea what the balance is. So we have those people, and then we also have the people that come in that log on daily. That log on daily.
They're really involved. And
it doesn't matter.
And there's not one's better than the other or anything like that. It's just whatever type of investor you are, whether how involved you are or not, we do feel like we can assist you in many different ways, and that's why we're going through this series. The
questioning of that first meeting, right, tells us, okay, where do we need to maybe focus more education on, or not? Maybe we don't need to educate as much, and we're just there to facilitate the goals and how the assets are how you actually are saving in the assets.
And it's really to empower you. Like the whole meeting and getting to know you in the education level is to empower you to hit those goals.
Yeah. So you asked me about goals. So some things that we're going to ask you a lot of questions in the first meeting, because obviously we're just getting to know you. But the real goal is, okay, when are you wanting to retire? When are you planning to retire? What does that look like for you? Like what age is that? Okay, so we're going to take that information from you and we're going to try to design the plan around that. But also we may give you a recommendation on, I think you should stay in, one more year, or you could actually retire 2 years earlier if you wanted to. So that's the big question that people ask is like, when can I retire? And that's a question we're going to ask you is, when do you want to retire?
The magic number. When can I retire? When can I stop working?
Now.
Yeah, I know. And there's other things too, like, is leaving money to kids important to you as a goal? Is a legacy plan important to you? Is charity important to you? Is, there's so many goals. I think we look at retirement like that's the ultimate goal. Do you want to maybe just switch careers and retire and do something that doesn't matter how much money you make, but you have enough money to save up so you can do that job you've always wanted? There's so many types of goals, but I think really getting to understand someone and where they're at with their goals and just kind of guide them to even like start having that thought press, because we have a lot of couples that come in and they haven't even talked about it. Like, so I think it's just getting that mindset like, okay, when do I want to retire? What do I need to save?
I do want to go there. I do think that's important for our listeners to know, or anyone that's going to work with an advisor on building a financial plan, that you don't have to have all the detailed goals down to a T. Now, the more detailed you are, probably the more accurate things are going to be. But the first step is just getting a general idea of what you like to, what you're wanting. And I think here's an example. Kole and I are sitting down, and I come into Kole and I'm like, I really want to retire around 62. I know my wife, my wife's 3 years older than me. She's going to be eligible for Social Security. This is kind of the age. Here's what I've saved. That, can I do this? Can I get there? Here's what type of income we want to do. We don't need to be like, hey, January 1st of 2020, 2050 or whatever the heck I'm going to have to retire, whatever it is. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but then that helps us start to facilitate that next step of like, all right, what are we currently doing? Like, how do can we do that? And sometimes, unfortunately, we tell people like, hey, that's probably not, if you want to live on this income, probably not reality, or you need to save significantly more, or you need to make more, or you need to retire later.
Oh, there's just so many little tweaks you can make in somebody's life. Like, hey, I'm going to ask you both this. How many people come in and really understand their situation of like, I mean, they have a broad idea, but like on a scale of 1 to 10, like how many clients are like, yes, this is exactly how much I need to save to get this amount? Nobody really. I mean, I've sat in a lot of meetings, like most people have a general idea of how much they're saving or what they're putting away, but to actually look and be like, okay, if I have this much, this is how much income I'll have every year. And this is how much my portfolio can make. And I'll have to take this much out when I'm this age. Like, those are a lot of details I think people don't understand that go into the full plan, customized plan.
I want to ask you this, Kole. So I thought of this while you were talking about that. I think where the planning comes, or even starting this conversation, when you got that person that comes in like, I'm kicking on Social Security right away. And then you go through some of this and you're like, hey, do you realize this probably is not advantageous to you? And I have that happen more often, I would say, where someone's like adamant about, I'm making this decision. And then we go through, I convince them, or I talk, hey, let's put it on paper.
Educate them.
Yeah, and see if it does make, just math sense, and then go from there. But I'm sure you've had that happen. And that's one thing I think this paints the picture a little more clear. Not saying it's perfect, but it helps you facilitate those major decisions.
Yeah, a lot of people consider retirement when they turn on Social Security. And that, yes, that can be a form of your retirement, but it isn't necessarily when you retire. And some people never retire. They have part-time jobs and they own rentals and live for a long time. But that is something that somebody has come into me and like, hey, they're 60 or whatever, and they're like, I'm going to turn on Social Security at 62, and I'll be like, okay, well, when are you planning to actually leave work? Well, not till 65, and I'll be like, well, that doesn't coincide with what you're going to do. Like, you're going to have to just pay all that money back. So those are things that we go through with you to try to make, realization, because there are a lot of what we get. And I know you talk about this as, well, my neighbor did this, or the
misconceptions,
coworker did
not
this.
informed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, their situation is probably far different than your situation. We need to just focus on what you do.
My second cousin twice removed told me to take Social Security.
Told me to roll that pension out.
Yeah. But also, I think to go along with Social Security, because it is something that we talk about with people, I tell people this in our interviews, it is a personal decision to me.
Yeah.
For you. I'm never going to tell somebody, no, you can't turn on Social Security, or you need to turn on Social Security right now, because everyone has their story of, my dad turned on Social Security at 62 and died at 62 in 6 months, something like that. So I'm going to turn it on as early as possible. So I'm never going to tell you exactly what you should do. I'm going to advise you on what I think is the best for your retirement plan. But at the same time, it is a personal decision for everyone.
You're always the owner of that's what we would tell all of our clients. You're the ultimate decision maker. When it comes to making these changes or things we recommend, all we can do is advise you on what makes the most sense based on the conversations we're having. And that's why it's important.
You're the one that's got to do the plan.
Yeah. We're trying to facilitate the conversation to figure out, okay, here's what you're telling me. Here's how we can get there or not get there, what changes we need to make.
And this is another thing I think we come across too. And I'm a planner, so it's easy for me to I'm not judging people. That's not what I'm saying, but most people wait. You know what I mean? Yep. Wouldn't you say most people come in at 62, 63? Okay, here I have this in my 401k. I have this. Give an example of why it's even more of a benefit to plan way ahead of that, like 40, 50. You know what I mean? Because that way you could have opened that extra non-qualified account and had a bridge account. You know what I mean? Like different variables that I think people think okay, now I'm at 63. Now I want to meet with you. Now I want the plan. Maybe explain why it's so important to have a customized plan, and maybe the sooner the better.
I just have one example. I think this illustrates it for the early on discussion for retirement planning would be making a choice between, and some people that are older didn't have this choice because the Roth's still a fairly new savings vehicle. But for example, saving in a Roth or a pre-tax in your 401k. If you have that discussion early on of hey, I know I'm going to retire probably before I'm eligible for Social Security, and you need that bridge, having that Roth bucket sometimes is very, very valuable to bridge. Or you're hey, I need some help paying health insurance because I know I'm not going to be on Medicare till 65. That Roth bucket is super advantageous. So if you set that up 25 years, and not everyone knows they're going to retire that early, but say you're at a job that has a pension, a very specific set of benefits, there are ones out there, and you're I know I'm not working past 60 because my pension, there's no benefit for me to do that. And you're I'm going to need that bridge account for things. Very important to do that early on versus, 2 years before you want to retire and you come to Kole and say, hey, I'm going to need $12,000 a year for health insurance. How are we going to do this? And then we got
And if you would have had that Roth,
yes.
First of all, everyone knows when
Bailey got all giddy about the Roth. Look at her.
Roth.
She was all
one of my favorite words. I'm Roth? Oh, let me tell you. But I'm serious because I have friends too that they'll just generally ask me, they're my age, they're younger, so which one should I do in my 401k? And I'll explain why the Roth. I'm if we didn't have that conversation, we're not going through a full plan, but that's 20 years of a big difference of it. And that's why I think it's so important it's not a concrete plan. That's why it's customized. Not everyone's situation is the same. I don't have the same situation as Kole.
It changes.
And it changes. And and the financial industry changes. And that's why I think just having a plan and understanding it's going to change with you as you grow and starting early is so important.
It will evolve over time too. So that's a lot of your people that come into us 30, 40, 50 years old, we're going to draw up an initial plan, but then we're not going to review the plan actually every year. We're not going to, make all the updates, but every 5 years or so, we're going to go, okay, now, here's how things are looking. The retiring early, that's my quote for people is the earlier you want to retire, the earlier you need to come see me.
Yep.
Because if you're going to retire at 65 to 70, there's not a lot of different hoops that we have to jump through. But if you want to retire at 58, I have a buddy that wants to retire at 55 to 58. And I'm like, well, we need to start planning for that now.
A lot of moving pieces, right? Health insurance,
Yep. We need to start planning for that now because you're not even going to be able to take from your Roth IRA or your IRA at 55 because you're not 59 and a half, right? So we need to start planning for that right now in a non-qualified bucket is what we're doing with that. So that's that. The earlier you want to retire, the earlier you need to come see a financial advisor.
And I would say this, the number one thing when I hear customized plans, little tweaks that are going to make big differences in your plan. Like little things that you wouldn't have probably done that now you're doing that are going to set you up for success when that time comes.
Yes, and I think the prime example that you said is that little do I pick Roth or pre-tax in your 401k? I mean, it seems like a small decision to most people, but 20 years from now, that's a huge decision.
Huge.
Whether you have $250,000 that's tax-free to you in a Roth or $250,000 that's pre-tax is going to be a big change to your retirement plan.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital.
Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market.
Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.
That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026 or visit our website www.spinmarket.com.
Let's do a little dollars and cents.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Super Bowl's coming up, right? So we got to do a Super Bowl statistic, and this isn't really stat. This is just a headline. We've talked about T Swift, I feel like, more than I ever thought when I said I was going to do a podcast. I didn't think I'd ever be talking about Taylor Swift as much as I have this year. But according to,
that's why she's so big.
Yeah. I'm laughing because I know how you feel about her airplane trips.
I'm like crazy. Like, according to Front Office Sports, Swift has created a brand value of $331.5 million for the Chiefs and the NFL brand. How amazing is that?
So all those people are like, why are they showing Taylor Swift? I'm so overseeing Taylor Swift. It's called money. It's called a business.
I don't know where they would get that math from. Who's gonna, that's subjective number, obviously, but there's obvious value, in her different fan base. That's eyeballs to the NFL.
Well, think about too just the impact of the viewership. I saw a little cute Instagram the other day. The dad was like, my daughter started watching NFL with me in the beginning of the year, and he's on the couch. I'll have to find too. And he's asking her like, what's a tight end? What's this? And she knew all the answers because she had been watching so much. And then at the very end, he's like, what's your favorite Taylor Swift song? And then she smiled because like that's why she's watching football.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so a good example of this is my little girls are 7 years old. I have twin girls. And we're watching the Chiefs game, and the only question, one of them walks in the room, the only question they ask is, have you seen Taylor yet?
And Caleb said this too. What was it? She was only on TV for like 24 seconds.
Yes, I was listening to a sports talk radio, and basically they were talking about people need to quit freaking out about Taylor Swift being at football games because she was on the TV screen during the AFC Championship for 24 seconds. But people can't get over the fact that she's in the stadium or something. And that's making them go crazy.
Well, people act like this is like abnormal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Celebrities
they
are
used
at
to show
those
J-Lo
games.
Yeah.
at A-Rod's games all the time. I mean,
Celebrities are at games everywhere.
I'm
Carrie,
just gonna
Carrie
say that-
Underwood at Tony Romo games. I mean, they show celebrities all the time.
I'm not gonna go into my feminist spiel, but my point is, it was funny.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, let's not go there because I don't want to lose. I'm just kidding. But she's worth $1.1 billion. He's worth $40 million. So like when people are like, why are they making a big deal? She's a bazillionaire. She's super talented and she's bringing how much money into it. Another tangent, Hughes Check, a 49er player, right? His girlfriend, Kristen, or fiance, wife, whatever, wife now, she makes like clothing gear and she makes like custom 49er gear and she's done a few games. Well, she sent Patrick Mahomes' wife a coat, right? And she said, hey, I have one for Taylor Swift if she wants to wear it. Taylor Swift ends up wearing the coat. The girl is blown up on social media.
That's crazy. That's
went from
cool.
like 100,000 to like 5, and she just signed a deal with the NFL that she can use their logo. And now think about that.
Oh, it's
impact.
branded?
Yes.
Oh, that's crazy.
So like that's the impact of like money being brought in. Like I get it, we're there for football, but it also shows you the power of crossover brands.
Really, really cool.
So I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
I want a piece.
Yeah.
Where's my, can I
That's
get
pretty
that
sweet.
sliver? Can I get the eye
You gotta
sliver?
date Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I know, man. Sorry, Chelsea.
Or Travis Kelsey.
Yeah. Travis Kelsey's not a bad looking man.
Chelsea loves Taylor Swift, so.
Oh, I love her. She's powerful. Love it. Another important thing before we get back into the financial things. Who's with me and who's against me now at this point? Who's with me on the Chiefs win the Super Bowl? And who's against me? Make
Super
your
Bowl
picks. Make them wise. I'll remember this when I make you wear something.
I'm going with Purdy.
Me too. 49ers.
I'm going to stick with my original preseason pick and go 49ers. It was close. I almost flipped to the Chiefs.
Do you
but
really think the Chiefs will win?
I think Mahomes is a dog. Like I think he gets people to play at the level they need to play at in big games. I'm dead serious. I think he's one of those players.
27
I think
to 23 49ers.
I think it could be one of the best Super Bowls that we've seen. Now, last year was pretty good, the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a very, very close game. But you're right. When push comes to shove, what quarterback do you want out there?
And push come
Right.
to shove.
Mahomes, probably. I'm probably stupid to pick against Mahomes since I picked against him with the Bills and the Ravens. But at the same time,
Hey, I'll play when they win. We'll just play that little clip.
That's all right.
49ers.
All right.
Well, I've been
Destiny.
wrong the whole time, so I'm
stay
on
wrong.
the
Stay
losing
wrong.
team, so you're
Stay wrong.
probably going to lose.
if the Chiefs
Me
win,
against
it
the
will
men.
be because of Patrick Mahomes being the better quarterback.
and Travis Kelsey, one of the best tight ends of all time. Like
Yeah.
And
If the
their defense.
49ers win, probably you won't look at it and say it was because of Brock Purdy being the craziest quarterback.
Yeah.
But if the Chiefs win, it's because of Patrick Mahomes.
49ers are
Yes.
favored right now.
and all in all,
very
it'll
small.
be a
It's like
great game.
1.5, 2.5 to the 49ers. But I think the difference maker if the 49ers win is McCaffrey.
100%.
They just the Chiefs do not have a player like McCaffrey that can make those types of plays. And the 49ers have McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel that both are very, very talented.
Who's the halftime show?
Usher.
Oh, yeah. It's in
Usher,
Vegas. It's in
baby.
Vegas.
My boo. Okay,
I think it's
don't know.
Usher and Reba McEntire.
That'd be
or something
great.
like that.
I
Oh,
would
I love
guess
her.
it's Taylor Swift in the next year.
Has she
She's
done
too big.
Has she done the halftime?
No, she's too big. She's.
I don't think she
she'd do
wants
it.
to do the halftime.
But think about the economic. Think about the money. Think about the impact that would have.
All the dollars. All the
Dollar
dollars.
bills, y'all. Okay, let's take this a little further on the first part because this is gonna be a series. I just want to go a little deeper into the first part of this. So, Cole J, debt and all that. Let's go through that in the first part of assessing you.
Yeah, so I think this will be a big piece of the first setup of building your plan is really, assessing your income, debt, or really your cash flow or your personal cash flow of where things are going. Because that's really going to, dictate the outcomes of how much you can save, and then we circle back into the goals of where we're going. But really, we do need to have an idea on, okay, what do our debts look like? Do we have good debts, bad debts? Do we need to pay?
What are some of the debts you look at?
Because we really
All
want to
of them,
see
yes.
the saving strategy. And we do come across where sometimes it's like, well, I'm saving 12%, but I've got a credit card that I'm running a balance on. Maybe we back that down 1 or 2% because yes, we want to be advocates of saving, but also there are times where it probably doesn't make sense to save more if you're paying 18% on a
You're
credit card.
losing all that gain.
So it's just a matter of we want to assess that. So we really, we'll dive deep into the cash flow first, and that's really where your money is going, savings, how much income you have.
And I think you've probably had this. Like, I'm more apt to tell somebody that they're okay to retire if they have very little debt or no debt. Sometimes
much easier
because you don't have to create as much cash flow for them to be just live day to day. If somebody comes to me and says, I have a $400,000 mortgage, but I want to retire tomorrow, I'm going to go, okay, well, yes, but we need to really make sure our budget is airtight. If someone comes to me and says, I have a $400,000 house that is zero debt, all my cards are paid off, then things become a little bit easier as far as retirement planning, and if they're not going to accumulate more debt as well.
Yes.
That's called reliance rate in our world. Is how reliant are you on your assets to pay your bills or your retirement income? And the less reliant you are, the easier
more freedom.
the more
Peace of
freedom you
mind.
have. Or it always helps when someone's got a pension or something that's coming for, like, on top of Social Security, right? Everyone, we build some type of Social Security for most people into their plan. Those are like floor incomes. We know that's coming, but if you're subsidizing a lot of your retirement incomes because you got $4,000 in debt every month, it puts a lot of pressure, and you're more reliant on your other assets to pay that and live.
And I think too, the goal of retirement is not to decrease your lifestyle. It's either to maintain it or live the way you want, which will tangent into goals. Like, I think you really got to go deep into goals to the first, assessing, because that's where you want to be, what you want to live like. So Kole, maybe explain some goals you look at to either maintain that lifestyle or improve that lifestyle.
Yeah. So in that first meeting, we're going to talk about the retirement goal, which we already talked about, like what age you want to retire. But also lifestyle is going to be the most important piece. And this is a question I ask people is, what do you see yourself doing in retirement? And some people will say, I want to
Going on a cruise every
hike
couple
all
years.
the mountains.
that, or I have some people that say, I just want to, not work, and I want to go to local high school football games, and I just don't want to work. I just want to stay at home, but I don't plan to travel, but some people will go the other way. So we're going to talk about your lifestyle in retirement, because it's going to differ from Bailey's lifestyle, my lifestyle, Kole's. We're going to talk about how much to budget for a goal like that, lifestyle / travel / whatever you want to call it. But then also some people have some big things like, hey, I want to try to buy a home down in Florida. Maybe this is somebody that's coming to me when they're 40, 45 saying, hey, in 10 years, I'd like to buy a home in Florida, maybe VRBO it until I'm 65 and then move down to that place. So we'll come up with a plan for that. So there's a lot of different things that you can establish as goals, but we're going to want to know those lifestyle things that you want to do that somebody else might not want to.
What are some other things people spend money on in retirement? Maybe they don't think of that's a goal, Kole.
Well, especially that age between 62 and 65 or 60 and 60, somebody wants to retire early is healthcare. And so we got to come up with a plan either to pay for that or to use non-taxable dollars so you don't have any income. And right now you would go on what's called Obamacare, but that obviously changes pretty rapidly. But another thing that people a lot of times won't put into their mental plan is home improvements. Mm-hmm. We never want your house to sit 20 years where you don't do anything to it, because
there's always roofs,
there's something
basement
that needs
issues,
done.
or you have a health issue. You need a ramp, because just someone's in a wheelchair, or there's a lot of things there. And I think we both build, some goals in for that, Kole, in our plans.
Plan for life to happen, because things are going to happen to you in your house.
And we do have some generic, I would say, if someone doesn't know, we have some defaults that we use that we've seen in real life. Like, hey, we do want to have an expense every couple years that we build on top of your normal retirement income, saying, hey, you're probably going to spend $20,000 in trade in a car every couple years, when you get into retirement. That's something people are like, oh yeah, that'll probably happen. We have to come up with that 20,000 somewhere.
Yeah.
So, or we got to incur debt, which we're not advocate, we don't advocate once someone is in retirement.
Correct.
We have people, I've had some people come to me and be like, well, this is the car. I bought a new car and I'm going to retire and I'll probably never buy a new car again. Well, if you retire at 65, you're probably going to live to 85 to 90. No, most people don't keep a car for 20 years.
Very rare.
So we're going to we'll listen to you, but we will also put in buffers that in case you do need a car or in case you do have a home improvement that you're going to do, because we're going to want to create things that maybe you're not thinking of. And we're going to want to make sure that there's plenty of money there.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of what we do as well is we create buffers for you that maybe you're not thinking of, or you think you're not going to use the money, but at least it's there if we do need it.
We want to stress test.
Yeah,
the plan.
that's
really, we
say.
do a lot of that. We're like, okay, so for example, this is, and I wasn't going to go here, but I think this is valid for the listeners to think about, is one thing that we will do in our planning software. We say, well, what if the market goes down 30% the first year you retire? What's that look like? Or what do they cut Social Security 20%? What's that look like for your plan? Our software and what we use, we go through those scenarios, especially as people are getting closer and they're like, hey, I'm a couple years, just in case. So we know, can we, if you live
Handle
to
that
90
dive.
and we had a really deep, recession in the market, how bad does it impact your portfolio? And then, that we want to inform you, and then you have to know, hey, that's a calculated risk, or the plan's like, yeah, it's fine, doesn't matter, and then we know, we're like, okay, whether you do it this year or next year, you're going to be fine. And
that's like the beauty of the plan too, and we'll get to this in the other parts, is like those recommendations, like, hey, we could buffer this, we can, in this vehicle, we can save this money if we do have another recession, or it does go out, or it won't impact your plan that much. But other goals that come to mind are wedding, travel, like charity, all these things. And I'm going to go back to this, and I'm not saying it happens because I really don't know, but I feel like sometimes we have people come in and they're 60 plus and they're ready to retire, and they're like, I'm just going to live a quiet lifestyle in retirement. I'm not going to do much. And I don't know if that's really what they want, but if that's what they believe now, because they didn't plan early enough for the things they really wanted. So now they've just accepted, like, I can't do that much in retirement. And that's, again, the beauty of getting ahead and planning ahead, is you're going to tell your retirement what you want it to look like. And your money's not going to tell you what your retirement's going to look like, because you've planned and made those adjustments to hit those goals and enjoy retirement.
Our job's easy when someone doesn't want to spend any money, but there's always I do always, we were talking about this, and I wanted to ask you guys, is how often do you see where someone lives a lifestyle here and they retire and it goes down?
Yes.
I've never seen it in my career yet. Normally when
happens.
someone lives at a certain level of income, it's very, very difficult for them to go down like 20, 30% of what they've been used to. It's just kind of, we're creatures of habit.
Yes.
So I always tell people that, of like, hey, if you don't know what your budget is, or if you want to, for planning, kind of use your net income now as what we were in place. And yes, it maybe go down because debt falls off. That's why it does go down, is like,
but inflation happens.
Yep. You no longer have a mortgage or a car payment maybe at that point. So that's where it comes down. But your discretionary spending, very rarely does it go down, especially for that early retirement. Later on it does, but early on.
A little plug. This is why I love our hashtag, your plan, your way, your financial future, because it really is your plan. It's what you want to accomplish. It's what you need financially. It's the little things that are going on in your life that's not going else in someone else's life. It's your way. Like, you got to do the plan. We'll help you along. And it's really your future. What do you want your retirement to look like? And don't just assume you can make it work. Like, having a plan, you're going to feel so much better, and the peace of mind. And then if you're working with someone early, you won't have that debt in retirement. You'll all be planning about these things. And that's why I think it's so advantageous to work with someone, because it's so hard to do alone. There's so many moving pieces. There's so many changes, and customized plan's the way to go.
Yeah, and every plan we start from scratch. Mm-hmm. We don't have like a template that we use or anything like that. We start from scratch. Now there's some things that we put in most plans, like the home improvement thing, like cars. But we're going to adjust that based on. I've had a car goal for somebody be as low as 10,000 and be as high as 100,000.
Yep.
Someone that buys new cars every time and they want to buy a luxury vehicle, I have 100,000. Someone that trades in, going to buy a used vehicle, only going to want need to upgrade a little bit at 10,000. So it is. Yes, we're going to have that same goal in there for everybody, but at the same time, it's going to be different. Yep.
And I'd like to bring this back to you. What's your one goal in retirement? Let's share one. What would you want? Like, one thing, and will be a good exercise, because it'll show you, like, I know me, Kole and Kole don't have the same goals in retirement.
I don't really have, this is,
putting you on the spot.
I do this for a living, and I don't have I'm a person that's probably going to be somewhat active in retirement. I'm going to have an active retirement. I'll probably be involved in real estate and business up until, I really physically can't or mentally don't want to deal with it. So, it's really just comes down to choices for me. It's always like, I want the option and I'm a control freak, for everyone knows me, to say, yes, I want to do that, or I don't want to do that.
Cool.
They're both giving me the, for
Cole's
people watching on.
Freak.
But that's important to me. I don't know how to put a goal on that, but it's I just want to decide if I
want to have the flexibility to do what you want, when you want, and how you want it.
And that's retirement. That's what I want.
And people that work in retirement, quote unquote, work where that's what you're saying is I'm always going to be a property manager. I'm always going to have extra income coming in. You're going to have more flexibility in retirement. You're going to be able to, instead of the person that retires only has a 401k, only has Social Security, totally different situation that you're going to have. And that's what creates that. Yeah, recreates that income source that you can have that flexibility. But to answer your question, I would say the ability to travel and do what you want to do when I want to do it would be what
a lot of Cubs games in your future.
So what's not happening? I'm just kidding.
Oh, shots fired.
I'm just kidding.
What
I'm
is
kidding.
yours?
I would love to live somewhere, like have a house where I could go hike daily for sure.
Like, are you going to live
Colorado.
elsewhere? You're not going to live in Iowa
No, I
when
would
you
like.
retire?
Well, it depends. See, I'm so young, but
How
I
are we
would.
going to hang out?
Arizona.
Are you gonna go hiking?
No.
See, exactly.
I'll go hike up the stairs to the Cubs game.
I just want to live somewhere where it's warm and I can be outside all the time, like nature.
Are you
Active,
gonna
very
do
active.
50-50, you think?
Yeah, wherever my kids are, I want to have a place
I'll be
near
somewhere else,
them,
too.
and then a place. I like the idea of having a home where it's like, you know,
No,
you
I
can't
don't
see
know.
me
That's why I'm
YouTube, but
asking.
like a home where it's like adventurous and outdoor living, and like if my kids have kids, like that would be their like kind of vacation home, and then just like a home to have like.
You always come back.
You need
them.
a golf house.
Yeah.
I don't need a golf house. I need a hiking house, like a house where all the great national parks.
I'm
are.
about
like-
10. I'm about,
I thought for
I'm
sure
about-
your guys were
I'm
gonna
about
be
10
like.
minutes from,
I like
from a lot of
golf-
places.
That's true. That place is so.
Golf house, Chicago house, Fort Dodge house.
Yeah.
I'm laughing though because, and I also do. This sounds cheesy. I want to be able to do a lot of charity work in retirement. So
Doesn't sound cheesy. That's good.
yeah, like maybe
Everyone's different though. That's what I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
what we're getting at here and what the point we're trying to make is like,
Yeah,
you know, we want to facilitate that conversation, but everyone is going to have different goals, objectives, and ultimately that's what defines your plan.
great. That's a great way to describe it. And I'm excited to go deeper into the series and see how we can really help you with your plan.
So next time we're going to cover what we do in the so we covered the first meeting. You know, we're going to take all this information, ask you questions. You don't have to know all the answers. We're just giving you examples of things that we're going to ask you and things that people say to us. But we're going to take this information. We're going to go back to the drawing board. We're going to start your retirement plan, and then our next episode is going to be implementation. Okay, so we see this is what we're going to do. We know you have this goal. This is how we're going to build that to do that.
Yep.
So
Perfect. Step 1, your plan. Let's figure it out. Step 2, let's show you how to do it.
correct.
Boom.
All right, go Chiefs. Go Chiefs. No? Anyone?
What do you got for a quote for us today?
I
Dave?
got, you know what's so funny? This Mia Hamm is in my quote, and little girl, she was on my wall for 10 years, the poster, and it was where she ripped off her shirt when she hit the game-winning goal. You guys know what I'm talking
That
about?
wasn't Mia Hamm.
It absolutely was Mia Hamm.
I don't know who Mia
No, it
Hamm is.
wasn't.
Do you want to bet $1 million?
It's a blonde gal.
Take your victories, whatever they may be. Cherish them, use them, but don't settle for them. Mia Hamm.
Go Cubs.
You've been listening to How to Money with Kole and Kole, the podcast of Full Swing Financial Planning. To learn more, visit their website at www.fullswingfinancial.com and follow them on Facebook and LinkedIn.
For now, I'm Cole,
I'm Bailey.
And I'm Kole.
and we'll see you on the greens.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.